GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
So, Fatman.
Hi, Sleazy.
Hey, wait. How did you get over next to me on my couch?
Just like I did a few weeks ago. I snuck in the window, I saw you jerking off hermaphroditic porn, and I ran away. To your couch. Which has cum stains all over it.
Well, that's a good start to any show. But let's talk about news and rumors, as well as a special guest on the wrestling show. Welcome, everyone. This is Sleazy.
This is the Fatman.
And welcome, everyone, to another wonderful episode. So today, we have, as always, we have the man who can't keep himself from laughing. Ryan Williams is here with us tonight.
Hi, it was so hard not to laugh during that cold open.
You're welcome.
And because I'm blind and because I want to make sure I get this right, but today's guest wears so many hats in entertainment. He's a stand-up comedian. He is the co-host for Brandon Thurston on the Wrestlenomics podcast. He's a co-host with Jonathan Ash on the hit podcast Rediscovering the Indies, and announcer and manager extraordinary, including the voice of ESW. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Chris Gullo is there.
Yes. How's it going, everybody?
How much did you pay Sleazy to read that?
$300.
Where's my 5%?
He's a huge fan.
No, so Chris, as many of our fans, our multitude of fans is aware, Chris works all around the upstate New York region.
Wait, what? The what region?
Upstate New York.
We just talked about this.
No.
I like to say I work throughout New York State.
No, fuck that.
Because I do.
Fine. All around New York State.
Thank you.
So we're not going to insult him.
You're ruining my good mood, Sleazy.
So we're not going to assault him right away and say that he works in the Shindies? Like
No Shindies for me. But no, I'm in a good mood. Do you know who I got a Facebook friend request recently?
Oh, who?
Kid Romeo. He's an exterminator now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the exterminator, Kid Romeo.
Kid Romeo's shoot Facebook profile. I'm like, okay. Interesting.
I don't think he's a kid anymore.
Yeah, the heartbreak kid.
Functioning adult Romeo.
Yeah. Midlife crisis Romeo.
Blue collar working dad Romeo.
This is going to be a long night for anybody actually on the show. This is going to be a lot of fun, though. In all seriousness, Chris does so many things in professional wrestling as well as in stand-up comedy. Like you say, he's the co-host of two great podcasts, ones that I specifically promote on the show. We talk about Wrestlenomics all the time on here, and obviously I push Rediscovering the Indies all the fucking time. But let's talk a little bit. How did you actually get in the wrestling business?
That's a good story. So, kind of always wanted to do it, but my path led to sports first. When I was in college, I did have a wrestling talk radio show. And through that wrestling talk radio show, I did meet a lot of people like in the wrestling business. I'm like, oh, let's be something I could do one day. But nobody like said, oh yeah, come on in. Like, or I probably could have gotten the business in 06, 07. Nobody kind of extended that olive branch. So, started to do more sports, football, basketball, hockey, and somebody, I know was like, come hang out at this wrestling show, whatever. So I hung out at this wrestling show. It was MFW. I was like doing chairs and everything like that, just helping set up or whatever. And then I saw there was an opening to be a ring announcer at BCW on Craigslist, believe it or not. And,
because when I think ring announcer, I think I should find it on Craigslist.
Shindies!
But that's how I got my start. I sent my stuff and, promoter liked it. Like as far as, me having a media background, and December 8th, 2011, I made my, ring announcing debut, ring announcing Brody Lee versus Jordan Lennox. So,
wow.
Yeah, first match I ever did. 10-year anniversary is coming up soon, so it's crazy. But yeah, and then like I just got more and more people, because in MFW I was kind of doing the refereeing thing while I was ring announcing at BCW, and then was through BCW ring announcing. I would like go on the road with like Rex Atkins, and I was a manager in a lot of places, and just kind of spiraling. And then now I'm mostly focused on ring announcing, but I do like to be a manager once in a while. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent. So you ring announce not just in wrestling, you also do MMA too, right?
Yes, MMA and kickboxing. MMA, I work for a company called Ground Force Fights, mostly based here in New York State, and really cool company. Just like the vibe of it. Lots of different type of like fights too. The kickboxing promotion I work for, really awesome. It's called Lace Up Promotions, and they do fights in multiple states. And the CEO of it, Amir Abdal, he's got his hand in so many pots. He's actually like on the management team for Badou Jack, who's one of the best boxers in the world. And he's and Amir himself is a former world kickboxing champion. But I've gotten to like through that, I've gotten to announce like got people that were in UFC before that are now doing kickboxing, or that were or still in Glory kickboxing as well. So
wow,
it's been pretty cool. Like, yeah, I mean, one of the guys I would announce is a Bellator guy now too. Like, so it's been it wasn't what I thought was going to happen. I never was like, oh yeah, I'll be an MMA ring announcer. It was just there was an opening. I sent my stuff because I mean, hey, might as well. It was cool, and so I dabbled between MMA, kickboxing, wrestling. I could do boxing as well. I think I only know boxing once though. But
yeah, we have a friend of the show who's a boxer, that AKA punching bag, but but yeah, he does a lot of fights up here now since he's moved back. But so what has been your I guess this is going to be kind of a loaded question, but what has been your favorite spot in professional wrestling that you've been a part of?
I would say my favorite moment, and I work for a lot of great companies right now, but I mean, my home's ESW, and I think those other companies know, and I love all those companies dearly as well. But ESW is my home. It's where I've worked a long time, and where I think I've really grown from somebody else probably just okay to somebody that's like, people call me a pro, and and I'm not one to tout my horn. I'm a pro, but like, it's nice to hear that. And I think ESW was a lot of growth with that. And I think announcing the Ultimo Dragon was probably, and that happened in ESW, was probably to me my cool moment, because that was one of my favorite wrestlers. I was a WCW kid. Yeah, WWF and the Attitude Era was cool. I was a WCW kid until about 2000, but it got real bad. But so that was, to me, that was the coolest moment. And I've gotten to do a Legends show where I've like gotten to bring Goldberg to the ring, and then I've announced some really cool names, and especially a lot of people that are like big stars now. But I think the ring announcing the Ultimo Dragon is probably just a really special for me.
Excellent. So let's shift gears a little bit, because one of the other main things that, like you said, like we've talked about before, is that you do two major podcasts. So let's talk a little bit about Wrestlenomics, because I want to know how you got involved with Wrestlenomics, how you know Brandon Thurston, how the podcast became a thing. What was your journey there?
Well, so me and Brandon met years ago at Pro Wrestling Rampage. I think I met him in MFW before that. But we met years ago, but like we started to like do podcasts together and like, get to know each other well and the personalities and whatever. Probably like when we were doing ESW's podcast that was around for a little bit called Inside the Empire. Mm-hmm. It was just to like interview people of ESW and kind of really promote what was going on. And you know what? I like to think I've been doing this for years, whether it was radio or podcasting, this and that. So I could be a good, like, hey, bring up other topics and stuff like that. And I think Brandon knew that. And I guested a couple times on Wrestlenomics, after, Chris Harrington left the podcast. Mm-hmm. And then I think Brandon was just looking for someone to sit in that other chair and just to make the conversation fluid. And so it wasn't just him talking, but quite honestly, like him just talking, the guy's just a wealth of knowledge. But he wanted a second person there, and I said, hey, I'm up for it. And that's where it comes to it. You know, we had previous experience in the old podcast together, and I think it works. A lot of people have said they like our chemistry and everything. And Wrestlenomics is just grown so much. And I got to give Brandon like almost all the credit. You know, he's constantly getting these ratings and charts and graphs and spreadsheets and all this. He's really great in it. I'm just along for the ride. Any contribution I make, I'm like, wow. I mean, you know, cause like I said, Wrestlenomics it's way bigger than me.
Yeah. And Brandon put so much effort into this, and a lot of the times when we talk about financial data and, buys and all that stuff, it's usually coming from Wrestlenomics as their primary source. So, he's done a lot for us, whether he knows it or not. So,
yeah, I mean, this is a great time too. I think the popular Wrestlenomics has grown because I think people are excited about ratings because there's another national huge promotion. And I think too, you know, it just matters. I mean, you want to know what all these other companies are doing and this and that. And it's a very exciting time for wrestling. If it was just WWE, Wrestlenomics might not be that exciting, but, it's been great. And we're actually, we have a new strategic partnership, basically a new network with Post Wrestling. And John and Wade, those guys over there are absolutely awesome. You want to talk about like guys that like are like the standard, like gold standard of like wrestling journalists. Those are two of the guys right there, Post Wrestling. So, and the whole Post Wrestling crew. So just to be a part of that is awesome that we're have a partnership with them now. So,
you guys got questions?
Yeah. Which talent that you haven't like announced or quote work with are you like dying to like absolutely be like it'll be a mark out moment to like Howard Finkelheim?
Juventud Guerrera, 2 Gold Scorpio, and it's crazy that I have not announced 2 Gold Scorpio because he like I've had so many other friends that have. But yeah, 2 Gold Scorpio, Juventud Guerrera, probably La Parka or LA Park. But see, it wouldn't be as cool saying LA Park. But yeah, like, as you can tell, I told you guys I love me some WCW.
Now, when you were growing up, you said you were a WCW fan. I was an NWA guy, and then Bret Hart was my guy, so I kind of drifted over there. What year did you start watching wrestling?
I can remember moments of a kid, like I think 92. I can remember a little bit of it. I was young. 93, I know my mom was taking me to the WWF shows at the Niagara Falls Convention Center. And that was when Vince McMahon did not want to run the Odd anymore because they had NWA shows years ago. So he just started running things like the Niagara Falls Convention Center. And I remember that, but I think 95 is when I really got into it. In 1995, if you didn't have cable, it still ruled. Because I had this little antenna TV. And in 1995, I was able to get on this antenna WWF Superstars, which pretty much gave highlights of the big stuff on Raw. I got a Nitro replay on a Canadian station. Thank you, Canada. They like aired like Sundays before Baywatch.
That's a win-win.
Also, Canada aired their own version of Superstars on Saturday night, which had different matches, which was crazy. And then I also got like, WCW Pro that would air, weirdly enough, I'm pretty sure on a Christian station. I don't know how it gets syndicated on there. And then also there was this channel called, and you've probably heard me talk about it on Rediscovering Indies, Channel 67.
Yep.
And America One. And at that point, America One had Smoky Mountain, USWA, and ECW. So 95 was when I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah. Around here, we barely got Superstars, really. I mean,
Superstars was always 11 o'clock on Fox on the Saturday morning. And then I don't even think I ever watched an episode of WCW Pro.
Yeah. Never.
It was like WCW Saturday night, but I had cable, so I was able to watch the other stuff too.
Yeah.
And then eventually I pushed my mom to get cable when the Monday Night Wars were really heating up in 96, 97, but 95, I think that's when I really was like, oh, this is cool. And there was so much stuff that I could watch. It was very diverse. So.
Yeah. Ryan, you got a question?
Nah, not really. I'm just soaking it in, learning.
Well, hey, gave him a shout out to Canada,
Hey,
learn how the Americans doing, okay, Ryan?
Here's the thing that, a buddy of mine brought this up on Twitter, and for me, I've been shaped by what's called border culture, and I don't think a lot of kids get it anymore because you don't rely on attended TV like you used to. But I got to watch a lot of Canadian shows, and really know a lot about the Canadian culture, where it's going to Canada is just literally it is 5 minutes from my house, but it's just like going to a suburb.
For me personally, the only thing that I had known about Canada at when I was young is that we went once to Niagara Falls, and I would watch reruns of the Red Green Show, and that was it. That was the entirety of my of exposure to Canada. So
that's because you were too far down in New York, probably, right?
Yeah. I was born in Rochester, but moved over to Phelps 25 years ago. Has it been that long?
I'd
20
watch
years
Corker
ago.
Gas.
Yeah.
I'd watch Degrassi, the old school Degrassi.
Oh my goodness. We didn't get those until the reruns hit on Nick.
It's funny though, because for me here in Newfoundland, WCW Saturday Night, we had TBS, and it was just a random station, especially where I was from in Newfoundland, farther out around the Bay, is easy enough to call it. TBS is a regular channel to me. It was I got my Clash of Champions, I got my Saturday nights. It was cool for me. I had that stuff before I even had Nitro, because Nitro didn't really start airing in Canada until maybe 97.
Yeah.
And you get that for 3 cap or so on TSN.
Wow. It's crazy how just something simple like that can really change what you considered, what your exposure to wrestling was. I mean, you're talking the difference between watching a bunch of cruiserweights in WCW versus if you were only watching WWF at that point, you're watching a completely different product.
Yeah, you were watching Duke the Dumpster Drosy, man.
Hey. Doink.
Hey, Duke the Dumpster Drosy is a tremendous human being.
He is, legit.
He came over to me at our table at WrestleCon, and I made the mistake of letting Virgil sign autographs. And he came over, and I'm marking out for Duke the Dumpster Drosy. And I'm like, dude, can we do a video, whatever? And then he's like, yeah, man. He goes, but remind me, I gotta get a photo with Virgil.
Gotta get your $10. That fuck money, man.
Duke the Dumpster was enjoying his photo with Virgil.
Oh my goodness. We have I personally only been lucky to be at one WrestleCon. Fat Man has had 2 terrible experiences.
One terrible experience.
Was it Dallas?
Which was with you.
Of course. So,
because the one in New Orleans, they had it in a room as big as this.
It felt like it.
It was so small. And then they had Ric Flair signing autographs in one corner, Bret Hart signing autographs in another, and then somebody else in one corner, somebody else in the other, and all the lines got all twisted with everybody in the middle. It's all you couldn't find a bigger convention hall to put this in. In Dallas, at least it was a bigger space. But I hope it's back. I think I remember. Oh, it was at the convention center in Dallas. This was at a freaking one convention room in a hotel in New Orleans.
Yeah, this was that was 34, right? Yeah, that was 34, and it was just terrible.
Still in a sketchy crack house.
It might as well have been. Yeah, at that point,
I ran over Mean Gene again.
Yeah. May he rest in peace. So we kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, and on your backsplash. Obviously, this is an audio podcast, but we can see on the backsplash of Chris's Zoom call, he has the logo for Rediscovering the Indies. Now, my main question before we actually talk about Rediscovering the Indies, are you attributing yourself specifically for the reason why XPW is now running shows again?
Absolutely not, and I'll tell you why. Rob had no idea who I was. So,
lies!
I was brought up in conversation to him, and he's like, well, I don't know, yeah, well, he's what?
He's a fucking liar and he knows it.
I don't know, whatever. I mean, here's the thing. Those XPW episodes were a lot of fun. Definitely some of our highest rated. Not my favorite, Rediscovering the Indies, because it's I didn't get a Christmas Eve email from Rob Black. I did from the illustrious Johnny Stewart, the right-hand man for Dale Gagner.
Fucking ridiculous.
So, but yeah, no, I'm not taking credit for XPW being back. I cannot take credit for that.
So, for people who are not aware or haven't heard Rediscovering the Indies at all, can you give us a quick synopsis about it?
Yeah, so it was really a passion project of mine and my co-host Jonathan Ashes. On these car rides, we talk about wrestling history, but we love talking about independent wrestlers because it's so obscure and there's not many people who are going to have that conversation with. Well, at least I thought it was obscure, I should say. And there was finally we had a little bit of time when the pandemic hit as far as to start doing this and doing research and a lot of these stories we talk about, we basically usually talk about promotions or infamous promoters or events or something like that. And a lot of these promotions we talk about, I remember them being a little bit of buzz on the internet as far as stories, all the stuff we talk about the NWA. I do remember that, but it was talked about and then forgotten. And what we're trying to do is I think what independent wrestling right now is blowing up, but I don't think a lot of people know its history in detail. And so we do a monthly podcast where we break into a topic of independent wrestling history. Sometimes that topic will go a few episodes, which we're experiencing right now with the NWA title from 2007 to 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're deep dives. They're really deep dives.
Which the last part's being recorded this month. And then, we don't know what we're doing in December yet, but hopefully maybe do something different. But yeah, I mean, we've covered Dal Gagner in the AWA, which, like I said, my favorite episode. Cause people have contacted me after, and I'm not going to sit here, some people in the business gave me Dale Gagner stories after the fact. And I was just absolutely loving it. But Roland Alexander's story, which is an interesting one. I think if that name doesn't sound familiar, he's the guy from Beyond the Mat that was the local wrestling promoter. And some people call him McCartney on that movie.
Shindy, come on, man. Keep going with
it. APW was not Shindy. They had some really good wrestling.
It's the joke, man. It's the joke of the.
But the Roland Alexander story was interesting. It was one of ups and downs, and I didn't expect to not that I would say, oh, he was a great guy, because he made some mistakes, but it was definitely an interesting, I think we told a fair story of Roland Alexander. I think there was the highlights and then maybe the not so was, yeah, that was an interesting one. We've done, like I said, the XPW episodes.
Yeah.
Multiple parts. That was our first multi-part deep dive. And, yeah, that was interesting. Stu, I can't think of the name here. Bruce Hart's Stampede Wrestling.
Oh, wow.
Which had the craziest gimmicks and all that.
Yeah.
We did Bruce Hart Stampede Wrestling. We've done, we It's literally some crazy promoter, like somebody with John Collins, Main Event Championship Wrestling, which I'm very excited because Between the Sheets, which is my favorite wrestling podcast, is doing their Patreon episode this month with that same topic, and I want to see.
Wow.
I want to see how much better they are than we did ours. But.
Well, I'll tell you, and this is not me just jacking you off. I'm being absolutely legitimate in this. I feel that you're very fair with everything you talk about on the show. I feel like that, pretty much everything that you talk about, there's not that much of a bent or a slant towards, not really liking somebody or really liking somebody else. It's really well done. And I feel like that it's a great service to independent wrestling to have this type of podcast out there, because you're absolutely right. There's really not that much information about, the history of a lot of these promotions. Just you hear about Rob Black and XPW, and all anyone really knows about is that stupid fucking scaffold thing. Nobody really talks about the rest of XPW, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, and one of the things too about that XPW, which the Dark Side of the Ring did cover a good broad story of it, but there was a lot of things about Rob Black that they didn't get into. That was just they never talked about him running for mayor of Los Angeles. No. That was the thing, and also the arenas. He was running the LA Sports Arena.
Yeah,
and then drawing 1,000 in a seat, 16,000 seat arena. That to me is the stuff that was really fascinating that you'll hear, because we did 9 hours on XPW, 9 hours and some change.
It's a 4-part episode, right? I think
we did 4 parts, 2.5. I can't remember exactly.
It was obscene.
Yes, we did 9 hours. Dark Side of the Room was 44 minutes. So what you'll get on our podcast is really deep into those little stories, and we've had so much support. Sleazy, you and the guys here at the podcast have been huge supporters. Lavi Margolin from the Business on Business podcast, he's awesome. He's been a huge supporter of Rediscovering the Indies, among others. So not only did wrestling, we do numbers I never thought we would do. And not only did the wrestling community, as far as fans get behind it, but a lot of people in the business got behind it and supported it. And I really, really appreciate it when we tweet out this day in independent wrestling history every day, where it's a little fact of in 2005, this happened and whatever. And, so it's a lot of fun. It's basically talking about history in the car, but actually doing it on a podcast. So. Because that's what Ash and I did for the last 5+ years.
And, Ash and I go a few years back as well. So it's fun to see the two of you get together and put something that's so passionate and see the groundswell of support for it. It's really amazing. I absolutely love the show personally. And I'm always waiting for the next episode. Couple quick things I do want to ask. So, Indie Pro 2022.
Yes.
Do you think it's actually going to be done by 2022?
I don't know, man, but it's a tech simulator. I mean, I was a big TEW fan. I loved playing TEW and doing the booker. So, if I'm going to be in a booking game, I'm for it. I know some people have been making fun of it or whatever, but I think it's pretty cool. I'm gonna pay. My name will be in a video game. So
yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just going to be some random stupid thing. But whatever. I did sign up for it as well. Eventually, I'll get into it. But you know how that goes.
You're the cutoff. The guy said he wants to fill 2,000 more. I hope that you are the cutoff.
I hope so.
You're 2001, and they're nope.
Hey, I keep claiming I'm manager number 51 on the PWI manager list till they got rid of it.
Is there a PWI manager list?
There was for a while, and then they stopped it 6, 7 years ago.
I've been trying to get them to do a ring announcer list, and they don't listen to
Good fucking luck. So let's talk about ESW. ESW has a show coming up. It's Wrestle Bash 11. It's Saturday, November 27th at the Frontier Fire Hall. We were actually there for the PodCon.
Mm-hmm.
Niagara Falls. The doors are going to be at 5 p.m. Bell's going to be at 6. Can you tell us more about the card and what we can expect to see there?
Yeah, the show's stacked. ESW has been on a pretty good run since coming back this year, after obviously being over a year, off of shows because of the pandemic. And this show is going to be just as special as the first two since we've come back. We got Daniel Garcia, who is now a regular in AEW on the AEW roster, defending his ESW heavyweight title against Kevin Blackwood, which is a name that's starting to get bigger and bigger buzz. Kevin recently moved to the West Coast, originally from this area, moved to the West Coast, and he's been working for a lot of top tier indie promotions out there. And really, so that this, and they're two guys that they're best friends, and, they're going to be wrestling in both, their hometown, pretty much hometown area, which Wrestle Bash is ESW's biggest show. So it's going to be a definitely special, fun night, especially for that main event. There's some other really exciting stuff on the show. I think the Elio DiPaolo Memorial Cup, which the Elio DiPaolo Cup, it's a 6-man elimination match, and it's stacked. You have ESW favorite Vince Valor, big time Bill Collier, but then KTB, Facade is in it. Matthew Rebold, which you also may know as Aiden English. Aiden English. Yeah. Aiden English is in it as well. So it's just super, super stacked.
Excellent.
Also Josh Alexander too. So,
Josh,
former Impact World Champion.
Alexander. So it's a super stacked match. Also on that card, we have Money Shot, which is a team predominantly out of like Pittsburgh, IWC area that wrestle out of there. They're going to be going against To Infinity Beyond, Cheech and Colin Delaney. That should be really good. Also PME, who are primarily in AIW in Cleveland. They're coming in to wrestle the High Seas, Nick Andy.
Yes.
Nick Ando and Cloudy, which
we've been hanging around too much with them.
They're my favorite tag team on Indies. I don't care what anyone says. And there's just a lot more. Frankie Feathers defends the ESW Interstate title against Jeremiah Richter, who's a rising star in ESW right now. We got Kevin Bennett's going to go against Vinny Moon. Vinny Moon's been the true underdog story of 2021. And it'll be interesting to see if Vinny Moon can pull a victory, but Roscoe is going to be in Kevin Bennett's corner. Roscoe could throw people miles.
You can say that again.
But we also have Danny Moe is going to be going against Christina Marie as well. Trying to think here.
Wait. Women's wrestling?
Yes.
What? I don't know anything about that.
Do you not like to watch women's wrestling, Sleazy?
Sleazy is the women's wrestling enthusiast.
Yeah, and I work for the one promotion in New York State that doesn't book any. That was not a shot. Was that a shot at Moose? That was a shot at Moose, wasn't it?
iPhone?
I love Johnny Moose. Okay,
I do too.
Wiggles.
Hey, with all due, I'm going to give him so much praise. He brought me in when I was just some asshole riding with Mark House. So
now he's an asshole riding with his wife.
Fair. Got me there. But,
and here's another match I forgot. Jay Freddy versus Tony Deppen. So yeah.
So just a random, just throwaway match. I mean, that's gotta be the popcorn match, right?
It's a stack show. Absolute stack show. And there'll be some more stuff announced. So it's a stack show. Wrestle Bash is, like I said, like our WrestleMania. I look forward to it every year. Traditionally on Thanksgiving weekend, which it will be this year. And, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think for me, it's special because, like I said, my 10-year anniversary is coming up like 2 weeks after that. And I will have at least one more wrestling show for the rest of the year, before my anniversary, which is Excite Wrestling.
I don't know anything about that.
December 4th. But the Wrestle Bash to be special being right before, my anniversary and being in my hometown as well. So I'm really excited for it.
It's funny because my anniversary for Excite is December 4th.
Oh, wow.
I started there in 2013, I think it was. I did a dark 6-man with like, I don't think there's anybody that's currently wrestling. No, Joe O'Connor's still wrestling. He still wrestles Joey Chaos down in Mexico, and every once in a while it comes up here and stuff. But I think Frankie Flynn was the other one. But he came with Johnny Gargano, of all people.
Yeah, Frankie Flynn was an AIW guy. I think he did AAW as well. I think he might still be around. I remember when he was. I liked his like Broadway type gimmick.
Yeah, that's what he was still using then.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So
we'll be right back after this.
But anywho, let's get into news and rumors. So basically what we do is Fat Man does a shit ton of research, throws out some of the yes, I'm throwing that out right now because I know you've been working on it as we've been sitting here. But we talk about news and rumors. We give some input, usually some funny shit with it. Just go ahead and shoot on it right afterwards. Anybody who has any input on it. So Fat Man, take it away.
Yeah, I'm so prepared this week. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
I love running our mouth time.
Okay, let's talk about the recent WWE releases. We talked about ROH last week, like the whole roster.
Oh, hang on. I forgot.
I very much enjoyed doing that last week, actually. Because you kind of got to see, like, and Ring of Honor, just its roster is, like, Ring of Honor's roster kind of soft, right? Like, in terms of name power and stuff, and
as you can see, the wrestling show mascot Wiggles is here.
Hi, Wiggles.
Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
She's like, I spell kid.
I was just saying, like, the names that we're probably going to talk about now, if they all went to Ring of Honor, then Ring of Honor would have such a huge jump in star power. Just if Ring of Honor was still going to be a real company.
Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So what are...
He's trying to lick my balls, yo.
You know, that is my dog. And yet she
wants to lick my balls.
She wants to lick his balls. Hey, whatever.
Okay, so let's go through the names here. Keith Lee.
That's probably the biggest surprise, in my opinion.
I'm waiting for Chris to come back. Keith Lee. Okay, nothing? Sweet.
I mean, do we want to comment?
Yeah, we'll
Sure.
comment on... Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a huge Keith Lee fan. I don't think they used him to his potential. Really excited what he could do. As far as where he will go, I mean, he looks like somebody who'd be built for AEW, but he also looks like somebody that Impact could really benefit from. So there's a lot of good opponents in both those promotions for him. Imagine him versus Josh Alexander or him versus Moose.
iPhone.
Yeah.
There's an inside story between the iPhone. That's why every time we say Moose, we say iPhone.
I think I've actually... Did I tell you that story, Chris?
So essentially, at a 2CW show, we had lunch with Moose and Beta Scott at the Destiny Mall in Syracuse, and Moose ran to the fucking iPhone or the Apple Store to buy a new iPhone.
Brand new gold iPhone.
Yeah.
Veda didn't know where he went.
Yeah, so like every time we say Moose, we're like iPhone, and then every time I see Moose, it's so funny. He remembers me, but he doesn't remember Sleazy. He'd see me, he'd be like iPhone, and he'd be like, "Who are you?"
I'm
nobody,
man.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else is new?
So yeah, I think Keith Lee Impact. Man, it's hard to say because ROH's roster, or not ROH, I'm so sorry. AEW's roster's like bloated as hell too. Like, where are these people gonna go? Like, I know they're gonna make a ton of money on the indies, but like, Impact could really use some big names too.
Well, one of the things we've talked about in Wrestlenomics is what if a third billionaire got in the picture?
Oh, Jesus.
Because if there ever was a time for a billionaire who had any interest in pro wrestling to go, I want to start a national promotion, it's now. TV rights deals are great. There's tons of talent. Out there.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
So we may even delve in that topic more this Sunday Wrestling, but we did talk about it this past Sunday a little bit.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Ryan, where do you think Keith Lee's going?
I'm let me start off with saying I'm going to miss the Bearcat. This is fair. I really did like that. I thought it was going to be real fun for him to be a monster Bearcat heel. I think he's going to either MLW or New Japan, because he'll still be able to work the Indies, but that'll be one of his home feds, because AEW is bloated and is Impact's not going to do nothing for him.
All right. Karrion Kross with obviously Scarlett.
And we kind of should actually say with Mia, with
Kia.
I think both of them together will go someplace together.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
as far as going back to Mia Yim, I mean, there's so many dream matches on the Indies for her. Because, as you guys said, a lot of AEW talent work the Indies as well. But, yeah, Mia Yim versus Thunder Rosa we could have.
Mm-hmm.
Mia Yim versus Roxy. Like, there's a lot of matches. And I'm sure she'll return to Shimmer as well. So,
right.
I wouldn't mind seeing her back in Impact again.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Karrion Kross.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Killer Cross.
I think he's going back to Impact.
I think he is too.
If he doesn't go back to Impact, he's going down to Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, New Japan Strong.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he lives in Los Angeles. So New Japan Strong would be just a perfect fit for him and that. So, and Scarlett, like, she put posts out on Twitter, and tons of promotions already offered to bring her in.
Yeah.
So, and she's only got a 30-day, but I don't know. I think he has a 90-day. I'm not sure. He might have.
What's that promotion? Scarlett's going to OnlyFans. That's the promotion.
You're making so much money.
Oh, she would.
Oh, my God.
She is gorgeous. Nia Jax.
Okay, I'll take back what I said about Keith Lee. That was the biggest surprise.
You want to
Rock
think?
WrestleMania 39. You can get rid of Jax now, and Rock won't be so bitter about it.
I'll say this about Nia Jax. I mean, big name value. Does she pursue indie wrestling? Like, cause she didn't come from indie wrestling.
Right.
So I think it goes back to Ryback. Ryback hasn't really worked many indies at all since he's been released. We don't see Braun Strowman hopping on a lot of indies right now.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you for a second, but do you think that it's because they want way too much?
They could be. I mean, I don't know Nia Jax personally, so I couldn't.
No, I'm just saying in your opinion. In your opinion, why?
In
like
my opinion, well, it's for Strowman and Ryback.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah. And nothing against Ryback or Braun Strowman, but I've talked to promoters that told me what Ryback is asked, and it's pretty high. And Strowman put it out there, or at least there was a leak out there of what he was asked for, which is pretty high. And I've only seen him announce for that Qatar Pro Wrestling, which has a gigantic budget. So,
well, here's my thing about Braun is that I'm pretty sure there's going to be some sort of a little bit of a fuck you with him because of what he had said about the indies beforehand.
Yeah, that is true.
At the end of the day, a promoter's a promoter.
Yeah, promoter's promoter, but if
Travis.
Yeah. But I also think that
make the promoter money. Like,
Yeah. But if you got a bunch of workers there, like, really?
Do you know where I think Nia Jax is going?
OnlyFans?
WWE.
Oh, going back?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they want her to be a wrestler. And that's speculated on this. Do you think it has anything to do with Charlotte Flair? I don't, but... And let's speculate on that, too, because there's also rumors going around about like their vaccination status, because I don't think it's true, but...
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something in regards to it, but I don't think it's this whole thing. I think it's because she killed Kairi Sane and killed her back to Japan, and I forever will hate her because of that.
I was going to say, that's just your fucking team.
I think she'd fit perfectly with the bloodline, but not as a wrestler.
As like a manager?
Yeah. Like, just have her just, like, not wrestle.
Yeah, but it's still a performer's contract. It's no different, I guess.
Yeah, but I just think she'll wind up back in WWE. I just kind of like what the Samoa Joe thing was.
Okay.
You know them Samoans, they like to fire them and rehire them.
Yeah.
Ember Moon.
Is it WoW or whatever the new women's one is called?
Oh no, she won't go there. Like Ember Moon is, in my prediction, going to go to AEW.
Yep,
100%.
I think so too.
I mean, I think, you know, people have seen great matches on Ember Moon, but I think people forgot the great matches that Athena Reese had.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at one point she was probably one of the best women's wrestlers in the world before she got signed. You know, and obviously women's wrestling has just gotten so much bigger since then, but anywhere she goes is an asset, but I think she's a huge addition to that AEW women's division.
I honestly believe, had everything not worked out the way it did in NXT, she would have been a bigger name in WWE, only because just how Asuka's reign happened and the entirety of that. She ended up being almost like the always the bridesmaid, never the bride in NXT, and it kind of followed her throughout the career in WWE because of it.
I think injuries hurt her too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say that. Yep. Harry Smith, who worked that one dark match in July.
Why?
You ever want to say, hey, this guy is a pro wrestler? It's Harry Smith.
Yeah.
Like, he is he make me what a pro wrestler looks like. It's this guy. Like, really nice guy too. So, I mean, he'd probably go back to doing what he was doing. New Japan, Indies, maybe back to MLW.
Yeah. You're going to say something, Ryan?
He was supposed to come back, but apparently he got sick and then just they didn't do anything. And then by the time the releases came, he wasn't sick anymore, and they were like, you can go now. Oh, I'd love to see him and Arthur get back.
All right. Grand Metalik got his wish.
Back to Moa Arms in Miami.
As much as I like Lucha Libre, I didn't know a lot about Grand Metalik before the Cruiserweight Classic.
Same.
He wasn't somebody I knew a ton of or watched a ton of. I'd imagine he probably goes to Mexico, but also to, I mean, the Lucha Libre scene as far in the West Coast and everything is pretty huge too. So, probably dominates the West Coast, I would imagine.
Yeah, him and I think, Lindsay Dorado's on here too. So yeah, I think both.
Yeah, they're mainly working in that like Baja California area too. So,
well, Lindsay's a different story.
You think
Lindsay's a Chikara guy.
Yes.
Forget about that.
Fuck you.
You
said I hate Chikara. I'm sorry.
What?
I just hate Chikara.
I don't know if you hate Chikara because you hate Chikara or you hate Mike Quackenbush.
No, I hate Chikara.
And I totally get why people would not like to talk about Chikara because of that. But there's a lot of great people in Chikara.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of great talent in Chikara. The company was trash.
But Lindsay Dorado came from there, and I like he is a US indie guy, and he's somebody I could see. I mean, like we just saw with Kalisto, somebody popping up on an AEW Dynamite,
just randomly. Surprise.
Got me in a bad mood. You mentioned Chikara. Jeet Rama? I've never even heard of him.
I actually don't know either.
I don't know who he is.
Jeet Rama. He was on NXT TV a little bit. I mean, I don't know. See, the problem too with some of these guys is when they're not like American citizens, guys and girls, they pretty much can't really stay in the country too long afterwards unless they get a contract right away. I mean, we see Big Damo is already back in Scotland. popped up at ICW again. So, I don't know if he stays in the States or not. But if he doesn't, India just got a guy that just got trained by WWE coming back with a lot of great experience. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Katrina Cortez.
I think Katrina's a similar case with that, isn't she?
I know she was on NXT.
Sure, but I know with her, I think she's had the unfortunate of like getting a storyline, dropping it, and then doing another one a couple years later, and then dropping it.
Yeah.
Because I believe she, if I remember correctly, she was the female talent teaming with Sin Cara.
Yep.
And then they just, honestly, was it just recently they paired her with what is their full name? I want to always say just El Hijo del Fantasma because that's who it's based on.
Yeah, it's Legado del Fantasma, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, she was just paired with them not too long ago, I don't think.
Yeah.
So
kind of strange, but whatever, and I know she was talking about how she's got 30 days to get the hell out of here because her visa is expiring too. And there was a whole thing about that.
Trey Baxter.
Oh, Blake Christian, man. I'm excited for his comeback to the Indies. He's already announced for Game Changer Wrestling. He's already coming back to that. Blake Christian was a huge star in like the Super Indies right before he got signed.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is very innovative offense. He did do an Impact shot as well. So maybe he pops up back in Impact he's going to get booked a lot on the Indies. So
Zadeh Ramir?
If you can't pronounce the name, it's not going nowhere.
Listen here, fool. I'm just learning how to read. But at least we have this thing called tablets in America. You still got books. You just getting the interwebs. See? Paper.
Got paper. Got paper.
Tablet.
Don't you normally have paper, dickhead?
I got tablet and paper.
There's no paper in this room.
There's no dude, I've been so busy I didn't even look up this shit. Come on. BFAB.
From Hit Row.
SmackDown.
Yeah.
And
Promoted SmackDown, immediately left.
that's why they put Mrs. with Legado de Fantasma. Just to have BFAB fight with somebody, and now both those women are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
They had a good match. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could already tell the first post BFAB appearance for Hit Row, there was something missing. It just wasn't the same.
Right. It was the same with Cross without Scarlett. Just the presentation was off.
You mean a blonde manager don't get people over?
I love you, Ryan. Ty Valkyrie. Impact? Impact? Impact?
That's a huge acquisition for them.
Yeah, really.
To get her back for sure.
I feel like
that's another amazing women's wrestler that has a bunch of dream matches she's walking into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like that depends on Morrison. If Morrison resigns, I don't think Valkyrie's going to do fuck off. Like, she might end up just going back even as a coach or whatever, because she's really not eligible anyway. But if Morrison's contract runs off, and WWE don't resign him then, they're both going to go to the same place.
Okay. Oni Lorcan, sleazy.
Whoa! Yeah. Of course. I can't wait for Brohim.
I cannot wait to be on a show with Vic Busick again.
Yeah, me too. my only question is if he calls up Ted.
You do a little louder. I'm deaf in this ear.
What?
Huh.
What?
Huh.
What?
Huh.
Okay.
Step on a fucking leg on a Bodie.
Listen here.
What?
They have a guest on. I'm not going to say what I want to say.
What, some decorum on this show? Fuck that.
Only when we have guests.
Yes.
I'm surprised you know the word decorum.
Me too.
That's it.
Holy crap. It seems like such a long list, though. Jeez.
18 talents.
And considering we just went through this how many months ago? Like
Yeah,
5,
and then
6?
Greg Hamilton was released not too long ago.
Yeah, we mentioned him on the show.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that one don't seem like a hit, though.
Yeah. But yeah. What else we got?
Fuck off. I'm listening. Oh. Sasha. She wants to have a, I'm reading. Leave me alone. She wants to have a match with Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus finally came back with a statement and did the most thing ever and says, in the very longest terms possible, never say never.
What the fuck? How is this even news?
It's Sasha Banks, so fuck off.
Oh, you just wanted to say Sasha Banks on the show. That's
Of course
why.
I did.
Okay.
Duh. Sleazy.
Yes?
Sleazy. The WrestleMania 38 online pre-sale began this morning.
Uh-oh. My bank
Fans
account just got empty.
Can access using code UNIVERSE at SeatGeek.com. The pre-order runs until late Thursday night at midnight, and the tickets go on sale at 11 a.m. on Friday to the general public.
Shoot me in the
As of
head.
this writing, SeatGeek shows WrestleMania Night 1 and 2 tickets from $30 to $887.
That's not bad, actually.
There have been combo tickets for Night 1 and 2 from $96 to $758. But there are no floor seat options for the combo packaging.
That's interesting. Thoughts, everyone?
Are you going to Mania weekend?
Yes.
Dallas this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will most likely be there. I've been the last few, so I didn't go to Tampa because it was just weird.
Well,
But
obviously.
Yeah. Very.
But I was supposed to go to Tampa the year before, but yeah, no, I've gone to the last couple. Usually I would get involved with something that weekend, whether it's announcing shows, working at a table at WrestleCon, whatever. I'm available for anything. So if there's anybody out there listening that's running an event, so WrestleMania weekend in Dallas, I could do stand-up comedy. I can ring announce wrestling. I can referee wrestling. That's my last preference. And then, hey, if you're having any conventions or anything, I'm very good at hosting panels. So.
Okay, Sleazy. We haven't said this in a while. According to...
Fuck Dave Meltzer.
About the releases, everybody was released due to budgetary reasons. As on the backstory, there were several of the people, I do not name specifics, of course not. It was not everyone, but was probably half a dozen or more that did not get vaxxed and were cut, and it was very much a part of the reason. What the I hate Dave Meltzer. Fuck you. It wasn't the reason, but yeah, perhaps
Dave.
Fuck Dave Meltzer. How can
I'm
you
going on a record here as a wrestling journalist? I think I am. I like Dave Meltzer.
You are no longer allowed on this show ever
Everybody
again.
else on this show are not the thoughts.
How can you like him when he says, well,
He was the crux of my podcast.
he goes, well, it was for budgetary reasons, but half of them was for the vax reasons, but it was budgetary. He backtracks on like everything he says.
He could be wrong sometimes, but he's
Sometimes.
But listen, I also put over Sean Ross Sapp is amazing. Mike Johnson is awesome. But
I will happily put over Mike Johnson.
Paul from Post Wrestling. Like, there's some great journalists out there. I don't know. Maybe I have a soft spot for Dave Meltzer. But
You just really love that $11.99.
so
How about this? I'm just sick and tired of him sucking Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks' dick. That's a dick, not dicks. They got one collective dick.
Just one. Wow. It's a braid, okay? Just let him vent.
on any of that.
Oh my god, that's like a 9-star match. No, it was like 2 stars. Fuck off. WWE names.
Oh, Chris, you look so fucking triggered over that. Fuck that Dave Meltzer.
Oh no, this is not me triggered. Please, you've seen me triggered. This is not me triggered.
WWE announces Frank A. Reddick III as the Chief Financial Officer.
Who?
This is where I
Mike Jones?
my Wrestlenomics.
Yes. So we need the Wrestlenomics host on.
Yeah. So Frank Riddick was actually the interim CFO when Michelle Wilson and George Barrios stepped down. And and Christina Salen took over about a year ago, hired by Nick Khan. And she was there for about a year. Looking at her LinkedIn, other than Etsy, where she was at for a long time, a lot of the other companies she worked at, she's there for about a year. And that's about what she spent, at WWE. She was there about a year, and they put Frank Riddick back in there. Frank Riddick seemed like he was pretty much a retired executive, but now coming back from retirement, being executive in a corporation again. But his compensation package is out there compared to Christina Salen's, and he definitely is getting paid more than Christina Salen was. So.
Wow.
So you're telling me there's a wage gap between males and females in this country?
Stop. No, we're not playing that game. Wrong podcast.
I'm not looking up news and rumors, so fuck off, everyone. I'm trying to fill some content here. God.
What content? We don't do that here. We are not wrestling journalists.
Impact announces the relation. Yeah, we're not wrestling journalists. Ryan. Impact announces the location of Hard to Kill.
I am.
Which will be January 8th from the factory in Dallas, Texas. Why not just hold off the Dallas date till WrestleMania weekend? Because probably there's a lot of... Chris, you're the independent wrestling enthusiast. So we have the women's wrestling enthusiast, the tag team wrestling enthusiast, the... What am I?
The NWA enthusiast?
I'm just the fat man, I guess. And then we got the independent wrestling... do you think that Impact never really run a show WrestleMania weekend? Do you think it's because there's just too much talent?
They did New York. Actually, they have a couple. They did New York and New Orleans.
They did New Orleans. Remember? Alberto Del Rio.
Lucha Underground. And New York, they ran New York as well, because my buddy Ryan Peterson announced it. So yeah, they
okay, I didn't know that.
They've definitely done mini weekend for, but I just think they're testing hot wrestling markets, and Dallas is an insanely hot wrestling market right now. WrestleMania aside, the independent scene is growing huge out there. Plus, Game Changer Wrestling has ran there quite a few times. I think ICW was there. So Impact's just jumping on, it's a hot town. It's a hot town for wrestling right now.
For good reason.
Normally, Impact doesn't really do a show Mania weekend, solely, normally. But most of their talent is at WrestleCon or at these other shows that are already there. So, Impact to do Impact versus Lucha because, well, fuck, you're all here anyways. Let's just do a co-promoted show. Right? Yeah.
Right. So, Sleazy, we talked about how WWE is in very serious trouble, right?
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Terrible.
I've heard financial woes are ahead.
They reported a revenue of $255.8 million, which was an increase of 15%.
Wait, where did you get those numbers from?
WWE themselves.
You asshole!
So, I mean...
This was a moment to promote Wrestlenomics, and you fucking biffed it.
Well, I'm on this website, and it has nothing to do with Wrestlenomics. It has what WWE reported. So, I'm sorry.
Into the world of wrestling.com.
So, I'm not a journalist, okay? So,
you're a fucking journalist.
Fuck off. Shut up, Canada.
Fucking journalist.
Yeah, so they're in such financial trouble that they recorded their biggest quarter ever.
I don't think it's their biggest quarter ever.
But it's top five.
It was a good quarter. Live events,
top five,
were very high. Merchandise sales, especially in stadium merchandise sales, were very high as well. It's a very profitable quarter for them. And when they bring up budget cuts, and I think the internet is in just uproar. Budget cuts. You're having an amazing quarter, and they are. But to them, I mean, if you have less overhead costs, it's probably more financially. I mean, there's the debate. Are they up for sale? And I think I've come to the consensus that they're not up for sale, but Nick Khan is getting them into the point where if they are for sale, they would be very, very desirable.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I wanted to bring that up the show. And again, I've just been like busy and I couldn't normally I write all this shit out and do what you pretty much do on your economics or Wrestlenomics podcast. But I wanted to bring that up. They are, every business decision they've made in the past 6 months have been looking like they're selling.
But I don't think they're for sale.
Yeah, I don't think they are either.
But I think Nick Khan is the type of, businessman, type of executive that gets them in the best financial position they could be, where if they were to sell, they would have all-time profits. Listen, what does the guy always talk about? He talks about TV rights deals and these big purchases and mergers and this and that. That's his way of thinking. So,
I mean, even
the
Nick,
IP. The IP. He's treating WWE IP like it's Marvel characters.
Yeah. And to be fair, Nick has said as such on earnings calls, we're not for sale per se, but
we're not for sale.
Yeah. It's we're not actively looking for a buyer, but if somebody came along, why not? And I think that's partially, you're absolutely right when you talk about their IP and how hard they've been pushing. You can kind of see it a little bit more in a smaller scale with Xavier Woods and Up, Down, Down, where they're telling him not to use Tyler. They're not allowing, all these little pieces of former talent to be on the show because it is technically a WWE produced show and it always has been. And to the point where you can even tell that Austin's a little bit more miffed about things. You can tell that there's a little bit of frustration there.
Kyle O'Reilly's contract expires in December. Red Dragon reunion, you dumb fucks.
I don't see. That's why I didn't get excited. I don't see it happening.
You don't?
I don't either.
I don't see Kyle O'Reilly going anywhere. Because I think Kyle O'Reilly is one of those names that WWE is going to keep around in the NXT to kind of help the newer young guys come in. And O'Reilly's still small anyway, so he can go. You're only going to have 5 or 6 handful of names that are not going anywhere out of NXT 2.0, and O'Reilly is one of them.
Okay.
I actually agree. I think he's going to resign.
I think his stipulation will be to stay at NXT, though.
Yeah, probably, but
I don't really know the guy personally or anything, but the rumor was that was Ciampa's thing.
Oh, that he would only resign if he stayed in NXT?
Yeah. That's the rumor.
Yeah, well. It's kind of a weird
way.
NXT
now, though.
Yeah. It is.
It's not the same NXT. Definitely not the same NXT I used to watch on Hulu.
That's for sure.
All right, I'm done.
That's it? Okay. Let's once again go through Chris, Russell Bash 11, Saturday, November 27th.
Yeah.
Check it out. Huge card. You can get tickets at eswwrestling.com?
ESWTix.com. Front and second row already sold out, but there's plenty of general admission still. But yeah, it's going to be a huge night. It's a lot of top talents in the independents. And then talents that also work for Impact and AEW. So, and MLW. So there's a lot of talent there.
So can you throw me some social media, please?
Yeah. Well, just to also don't forget Excite Wrestling, Saturday, December 4th.
Oh, fuck them.
It's got Ethan Page and Davey Richards on it. But yes,
so we can go to that show just for that match. I work all day that day.
Yeah, I know.
Change it to Sunday.
Social media purposes, I guess. Chris Gullo on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Rediscovering Indies, RTI Pod on Twitter. Rediscovering Indies on Instagram, Facebook. Wrestlenomics on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But yeah, it's I keep busy in wrestling. Whether it's ring announcer or be involved with the 2 podcast and got some other projects possibly in the works. I also work for Upstate Pro Wrestling. Check them out. NFW in New Jersey as well. And hey, if you need a ring announcer, shoot me a message and maybe we can make the magic happen, for me coming to your promotion. So
legitimately check him out. If you need a ring announcer, he is absolutely great. Like I said, we've worked quite a bit in Excite now over the years now. Ryan Twata.
Ryan Buck 85.
Excellent. I am at TWS Sleazy.
TWS Fat Man.
And the show is at Sleazy Fat Man on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us also on Facebook at facebook.com/Sleazy and the Fat Man. You can find this show and every other show along with the Gear Network at gearnetwork.com. You can download this show wherever you get your podcasts every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. But with thanks to Chris once again, and as always, for Sleazy,
for the Fat Man,
this is The Wrestling Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Peace.
Fuck Kenny Omega. Fuck Dave Meltzer. Fuck Nick Gage. A hot dog's on a sandwich. Fuck you, Ryan. Thank you, Chris, for coming on the show.
I'm a truth that you seem to run from. I'm an army of one. I'm a clip in your gun. I'm the pain in the game. The bloodshed in your name. When there's nothing to gain, I'm the world gone sad.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.